Now, join us on the program right now from Indiana University and Students for Concealed Carry. Crayle Vanest is with us. Crayle, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So I got to ask you, the New York Times has this piece: in bid to allow guns on campus, weapons are linked to fighting sexual assault. It's not a horrible story by the New York Times, although I think that they leave out a lot of information that I think is kind of pertinent. But you know, I guess in a way, kudos to the Times for at least acknowledging that this is a big part of the campus carry debate now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that they really left a lot out, too. But in their defense, they did spend a lot of time working with me, on the phone with me, and I think they spent the same amount of time with everybody. I thought it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been. You know, again, I think there was information that got left, a lot of information got left out that I thought maybe would have been important. But regardless, let's talk about why you are a part of Students for Concealed Carry. You are on the board of Students for Concealed Carry?
Yeah, I am actually. It's fairly recent. It's just been a couple months, but I've been working with the group since right after I got out of high school.
And why is that?
I'm an independent person. I've always been really liberty-minded, even before I really knew what that meant. And without life, there is no liberty. If you can't protect, your life, your sanity, your well-being, then how in the heck are you supposed to pursue more freedom, more responsibility, more independence?
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense to me. Now, I would note, Crayle, it's what about, is it 3:30 there in Indiana? Are you guys Eastern time? It's still 4:30?
It's 4:30 here. Mm-hmm.
You sound sober, and according to the opponents of campus carry, you shouldn't be. You should be rip-roaring drunk right now, and pretty much at all times, because one of their big arguments is, look, this is completely inappropriate. Most of these sexual assaults that are occurring on college campuses, alcohol is involved. A gun would not be of help. So why do we need campus carry? Because all these students are just, they're drinking, they're drugged up anyway.
I still can't believe that this argument is used as fervently as it is, because it seems so easy to anyone who's actually on campus to debunk it. First of all, my campus is a dry campus, and that works so well. There's no drinking on my campus. Sarcasm.
Because it's
there.
Not allowed, right?
So, yeah, if they think they can tell us we can't drink, and people drink here anyway, I don't see why they would expect people to listen when you tell people not to bring guns here either, first of all. Second of all, most of the really heavy drinking and partying goes on off-campus in house parties where the universities can't control whether you have a gun or not. Third of all, it's already illegal in most states to carry a gun while you're intoxicated. So this is a moot point on so many levels to me. I still can't believe that people just say, well, allowing guns on campus is like mixing guns and alcohol, when it's just not.
Well, no, absolutely not. But I think a lot of it comes back to this idea, and we saw this written about by Professor Eric Posner last week on campus speech codes and why we need campus speech codes. Because, Crayle, you're not an adult. You might think that you are, but you're not. You're on college campuses, and that means that you are in many ways still a child, and you need to be told what to do, and you need to be restricted. That it makes no sense to see college students, whether they are traditional students or non-traditional students. If you are a student, you are unformed, you are unfinished, you're not ready for these responsibilities.
That's I did see that article. And that's laughable to me. I will tell you, I paid taxes this year, and I almost went to West Point. At one point, I was in the application process for that. That's joining the military. That would have been a 9-year commitment right there. And I would argue that everyone is unformed and unfinished at any age until, they're at least 50 or 60, and then there's still room to learn. So,
I'm with you, Crayle, and I think that these arguments, frankly, I think that they're poor arguments in opposition to campus carry. I think as well when opponents of campus carry construct these straw people arguments, right? And they are unwilling to deal with you, Crayle, as an individual. They're unwilling to hear from you and your story because they want to construct this fantasy of who they imagine would be legally carrying on a college campus. They don't want to hear about Amanda Collins. They don't want to hear about the student at the University of Central Florida who was able to defend herself and her boyfriend in their off-campus apartment from home invaders, and how it is that she's responsible in her home, but she couldn't be responsible on campus. They don't want to have these conversations because they'll lose.
I agree with you. People don't want to accept that college students are people. It's always been fascinating to me. I didn't anticipate this when I was in high school and about to go into college. Everyone in high school told me, hey, you're going to be an adult. You're going to have all these responsibilities. And then you get here and the university tells you, well, you have all these responsibilities and expectations, but no, you're not an adult. It's fascinating.
So we know what the attitude is of a lot of the university administrators and university officials. I'm wondering, do you find that argument echoed by your fellow students? Do you actually have students telling you, Crayle, I'm not responsible enough. I don't want to do this.
Interesting. I don't have anyone say, oh, I'm not responsible enough, but I have lots of people come up and say, oh, well, I've seen other college students that I don't trust to have a gun. We're not saying, hey, every college student should have a gun. Absolutely not what we're saying. We're saying that licensed individuals who carry a gun everywhere else should be able to carry their gun here. There's no difference whatsoever between the general demographic of the university where I'm at and the college mall a few miles away where I can carry my gun well within my rights.
I hate to ask, but are you a concealed carry holder yourself, Crayle?
I am, yes. I carry a Bertha Thunder. It's beautiful. It's two-toned. Got Crimson Trace grips on it. I'm pretty proud of it.
Nice. And do you feel unsafe when you are walking around on the campus at Indiana University without your firearm?
At times. Not every moment of the day. Okay. I don't feel unsafe at every moment of the day anywhere that I am, really. But there was a story that I was talking about in the New York Times article. It's one of the instances of them leaving things out. They mentioned a story I told the reporter about leaving my campus job in a food court here at 11 p.m. and then having to walk a really long distance in the dark to my car by myself because I can't afford to park on campus. And they left out that I had looked up on Watchdogs, I think it's watchdogs.org, how many registered sex offenders I was walking past on the way to my car, and there were 3 of them just in the walk to my car. There are situations where, if not for the fact that I can't carry my firearm on campus, I would definitely feel safer having it.
And again, I'm just assuming that when you get off of work, generally speaking, you're not completely obliterated. You in fact, knowing that you're walking across this campus late at night, you probably want to make sure that you're able to be aware that you are able to again, if not protect yourself with a firearm, at least have that situational awareness. So that if something bad starts happening your way, you can react as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Students for Concealed Carry doesn't discourage anyone to take any other measures to protect their safety. In fact, our Indiana University chapter tonight is having a situational awareness seminar that doesn't actually have very much to do with guns. There'll be a portion at the end where they talk about adding this attitude into your carry style. But for the most part, we want everybody to be safe. We want everybody to be responsible in every way. But as you probably already know, since you mentioned Amanda Collins, that's not always enough. Amanda Collins was trained in martial arts, and she was still overpowered.
Yep.
So
yeah. No, you're right.
That's why we're here.
And Amanda was assaulted within sight of the campus police departments. Amanda actually took me to the parking garage where she was sexually assaulted, and I could see for myself exactly how close those police cars were. But there was nobody. There was nobody in those police cars, and she could have yelled for help, and people inside the police department, if the door had been open, would have been able to hear her. But there was nobody there, and the door was closed and locked because it was at night, and they didn't have 24-hour security.
Exactly. You are your first line of defense, no matter what your situation is.
So
always, campus or not.
So, Crayle, it seems to me that one of the things with this New York Times story, and I think generally speaking, what we find from now the opponents of campus carry, because women like yourself are speaking out, because women like Amanda Collins are speaking out and they're telling their stories, There was a quote by an anti-campus carry state representative in this New York Times piece who said, "Oh, well, they're going to play this card, right? Because it's effective. So now I expect they're going to play this card more."
Oh my goodness, that's so laughable to me. I've been so frustrated with all of these arguments and articles I'm seeing about how we're hijacking the campus rape issue. Campus carry, Students for Concealed Carry, has been around since at least 2007. And this has been part of our platform all along. The reason it's getting attention in conjunction with this part of our platform now is that people are actually realizing, hey, rape and sexual assault are a problem on campus. We've always had this argument that this is one of the things that women should be able to do to protect themselves.
No, exactly. You're right. It has been, and you've been, the Students for Concealed Carry have been making this argument. You're right, for years. It is actually the media that has now sort of caught up to over the last, I think, 2 years in particular. The stats of 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted while they're on college campus. It's really only been in the past couple of years that the rest of the media has started paying attention to this issue.
Exactly. This has always been part of our platform. Because we've been trying to tell people for the longest time there is nothing special about campuses that makes them more safe, that negates our need for a firearm. So
now that people are talking about this issue on college campuses, I'm wondering, are you getting a more receptive message? Are more and more students coming to you and saying, all right, I want to hear what you have to say?
Yeah, I would say not so much more students, but different students. Okay. Students who didn't care before care now, if that makes sense. And even lawmakers who didn't care before care now. Some of them were like, well, campuses aren't that bad. And now when I'm at the State House, I have some of them come up to me and say things like, I have a daughter who's on campus. I didn't realize this is as big of a problem as it is. Talk to me.
Well, Crayle, listen, I appreciate everything that you are doing and your activism in support of our right of self-defense.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, thank you for joining us. And please come back anytime. You said tonight you actually are having that situational awareness seminar there at the campus on the University of Indiana. So this is something, you've got a really active chapter, it sounds like, there at Indiana University?
Yeah, it's off and on at any given chapter because we're all college students and sometimes half your club graduates all at once.
Right.
But we're always doing education efforts constantly.
All right. Well, listen, please keep it up, and I'd love to talk again.
Okay. Thanks so much. You have a great day.
You too, Crayle. Crayle Vanest joined us with Students for Concealed Carry.